Mandana, this is the work of Bhiman. My name is Lakshmanan. You have just joined the job, he said, introducing himself. Mandana stood up and greeted me. It was clear from his face that he did not know who I was. Laxman turned to him and said, "Hey Manda, do you know who this is?" Mandana nodded as if he knew me well and saved my dignity. I looked at both of them and laughed. "A bottle of ghee costs 10 rupees, sir. A pot of ghee, but let's give it more or less, sir," said Mandana. I asked, "What is the difference between a pot and a pot?" "Both are ghee." To this, Mandana said, "If it is butter, we have extracted it in a machine, sir, but if it is butter, we have squeezed it by hand. Butter is a little dull to look at. If an experienced person holds it in his hand, he can tell the difference between butter from butter and butter from butter." Mandana gave a small lecture. He was showing that he was learning a new job. He was talking like someone who was giving a lesson in an exam. What did I need to do with the shine of honey? Our father was not even an expert enough to detect it. I said, "Give me butter from butter." But I did not know in what amount butter from butter is given. I wondered if they filled it in the butter itself. Lakshmana said, "How much do you want?" I said, "You have brought 70 rupees. Give me whatever you get." Immediately, their faces changed to one of shock and they said, "That much?" "Why sir," I said, "how much will you pay then?" Lakshmana said, "Look sir, now that you have 8 rupees more, a tin will cost 78 rupees. Let's see which tin," I said. Hundreds of kerosene oil tins were stacked high on top of each other in one part of the big milk. As soon as I entered, I saw that area that looked like a kerosene tower. But I didn't know that they had filled it with honey, which I knew was amazing. Besides, I was surprised to see the big tin of honey that they were going to give me. As I had only gone to buy 7 bottles of honey, I suspected that these gattis were trying to trick me into buying some adulterated product. But who had adulterated what? Jonabella, sugar syrup, and good oil can't be cheaper than this, at less than 78 per tin. "Ashri, what are those kerosene oil tins you are talking about?" "Oh, it's not kerosene oil, sir, it's pure honey," Mandana exclaimed. "Something is a scam." "Oh, this is a society, sir. If you do business with fraud and adulteration, you will be punished." "Hangalappa, someone cheated you." "Oh, us, cheating. Look, why do farmers cheat there, sir? I have never seen such people before. They are just businessmen who do light work," said Lakshmana. "If that's the case," I asked again to make sure that kerosene oil tin is worth 78 rupees for a lot of honey. Both of them said, "Yes" again. And I didn't believe them. "How is it possible to give it to this person?" I asked. Immediately, Mandana narrated the story in detail, in the voice of a witness in court. From his statement, I understood this year, a species of thick, old flower called gurugi has bloomed in the mountains. This plant, which flowers once in 8 years, seems to produce an unimaginable amount of honey in the mountains every year when it blooms. This time, all the money in the society was spent to buy the honey that was supplied, and all the loans taken out were spent. And many people had to be sent back slowly, saying, "Bring it slowly." Moreover, since there was no place to store it, they filled it in kerosene oil tins and threw it away like this. "I have brought only 70 rupees. I will give you the remaining 8 rupees tomorrow. Now give me a tin," he said. I also felt like carrying a lot of this cheap honey. Mandana jumped up and said, "Come on, sir. I will give you a high-class honey pot," and he went ahead with great enthusiasm. Knowing that I had something to do with the cinema, it seems that he had imagined something about me. Perhaps those actors, those actresses. The size of their chests, waists, and hips. Their dancing, their singing, fighting. Oh, I must have looked like a human from some kind of fairyland. Mandana started climbing the mountain of tins one by one. It seems that the honey tin at the end of the pot was placed somewhere on top, that's why. La Husha Kano Mandana, shouted Lakshmana. Lakshmanana ni solpa sumarya, who is the one who is on top? You or me? Mandana ignored his friend's warning. As soon as he reached the top of the hill, he grabbed hold of a bunch of tins and pulled them. When one side of the mound of kerosene oil tins started shaking, there was panic in Mandana's eyes. Before he could be careful, the tins on one side started to collapse like a snowstorm. In a moment, Mandana slipped and fell to the ground, holding the tin. I panicked and went to catch the falling tins. Sir, go ahead. Come here, Lakshmana shouted loudly from behind. It's okay. All the tins are welded together. You can lift them. It would be difficult if the tin falls on its feet. There should have been a cane, he said, turning to Mandana and saying, this little guy doesn't listen to a word I said. Mandana felt insulted. I offered him my hand. Mandana took out a tin of honey and handed it to him. In truth, the tin of honey was as heavy as a rock. When I lifted it and put it on my 40-year-old Jeep, its springs creaked.